Texas Tech is going to make a mockery of Oregon. And the game that I watched last night, you can't even argue with it at this point. Like, it's just, they're so much better. This is Locked On Big 12.
You are Locked On Big 12, your daily podcast on the Big 12 Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And it's Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome into Locked On Big 12. I'm Drake Toll from America's #1 Big 12 podcast, Locked On Big 12. If you're wondering, I'm coming to you from my parents' basement. And typically I would not do that for shame. I would have some shame as not to tell you that. And to refrain from recording a podcast embarrassingly home for Christmas from my parents' basement. But when we talk embarrassing, it's synonymous with what Texas Tech is going to do to Oregon based on what I saw last night. And I couldn't, I had to sacrifice what this is going to look like. I had to sacrifice the jokes that will likely be made in order to tell you it needs to be a national public service announcement. Bah, bah, bah. The Texas Tech Red Raiders will be mauling the Oregon Ducks in approximately 10 days. Boop. I watched an Oregon team that could not finish. Could not finish off James Madison. James Madison scored over 20 points in a game in Eugene. In a game where Oregon has the opportunity to put foot on neck, they could not do so. Texas Tech, on the other hand, against a BYU team that toward the end of the season got rolling, was mauling people like Cincinnati and TCU, winning road games, no less. Texas Tech held that team in 8 quarters of football. James Madison, Oregon only got to play 4. If they got to play 8, JMU probably comes back to win. In 8 quarters of football, the Red Raiders allowed a whopping 14 total points to a BYU team that's number 11 in the country. Now I get it. Stop it. Oregon has played a gauntlet of a schedule. Washington, Iowa. I watched those games, man, and I understand Oregon playing Oklahoma State, what it looks like when Oregon plays a Big 12 team. Except the only problem is that's the one Big 12 team that probably should have been in the FCS this year and likely would not have competed in the FCS either. There's your outlier. But Oregon has to get ready to learn Romello Height. Oregon has to get ready to learn David Bailey. To get ready to learn Jacob Rodriguez, buddy. Because here's the deal. What I saw with the Ducks offensively is they said, hey, we are faster than James Madison. And guess what? Correct. Do you want a trophy? I love the little guy. I don't think the little guy should be here. I do think Oregon, I'm sorry you had to play James Madison. I'll get to why that was detrimental to your chances to beat Texas Tech. And you won't beat Texas Tech because you had to play James Madison. But allow me to continue a bit here. Oregon got the ball to the outside to utilize speed. Like, hey, Dante Moore, let's get the ball out. We don't have to go up the middle in this game because there's really no point. We know we're that much faster than James Madison. I commend the game plan. Here is the problem when it comes to doing that against Texas Tech is James Madison may need 8 guys in the box just for the chance Oregon runs the ball up the middle. Texas Tech could put 2 in the box and dominate. The best defensive lineman in the SEC is David Bailey, and he plays for Texas Tech. The best defender in the SEC altogether is Jacob Rodriguez. He plays for Texas Tech. These are the best players in the country. So what Tech will do, because their corners are so good, because their secondary is so good, is they will be able to keep up with you and your speed on the outside. And once you've understood you cannot get the ball to the outside, then you have to go up the middle. And you're not going to be able to go up the middle. Here's why playing James Madison just ruined Oregon's season. Genuinely. Locked On Big 12. I can prove that. It's pretty easy to prove. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Every NFL game, you go to FanDuel live lines. The spread changes all the time. Starting quarterback's hurt in the second quarter. I bet on the second team to win the game. The other team to win the game. They do. They come back and win. Thanks to FanDuel. Live spreads, money lines adjust instantly. It's awesome. Player props update as guys heat up. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com. Place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. Today's show is also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is exactly where I get my my tickets for Oregon versus Texas Tech in the college football playoff. Game Time, they have these awesome zone deals. I pick the zones, they pick the seats. I save money big time. That's why Game Time gives the advantage back to fans. Easiest way to unlock amazing college football tickets and experiences in just a few taps. Go to Game Time, download the app, use my code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Code LOCKEDONCollege, $20 off. Download Game Time today. Week 11 in the SEC. Trust me, I'm going somewhere with this one. Alabama plays Mercer. Oh, scary. Georgia plays Georgia Southern Technical Institute for the blind. You'll see typically South Carolina will play South Carolina State. Then the following week they play the rivalry games. Georgia barely beats Georgia Tech. Man, they struggle with that ACC team. You think, well, Georgia's so much better than Georgia Tech. Why would they struggle like that? Alabama barely beats Auburn. No, Alabama's so much better than Auburn. Why would they struggle like that? Well, shoot, South Carolina loses by 40 to Clemson. You would think they'd make it a competitive game. It's a rivalry. What would happen is in the heat of this evil, terrible, awful SEC competition, in the heat of this battle that no one else could ever survive, you paused it. You paused the video game. The momentum was there. You were doing something. You had a rhythm. You were finding your way. And then you hit pause. And when you hit pause, you realized, oh, no. The whole melody that I built is gone. Someone ruined it. And I can't just get that back next week in the big rivalry game. Texas Tech has been watching Oregon with one of the best coaching staffs, scouting staffs in the country, like hawks. I want to invent a new bird. Hawk doesn't even begin to describe it. They have been watching them like some prehistoric dinosauric creature with wings intently for 4 weeks. Oregon, on the other hand, just got out of practice. Because it was supposed to be a blowout. It kind of was a blowout until it wasn't really anymore. Then you realize, oh no, can we allow 30 points to James Madison? Oh. We don't feel as good as we did. We don't feel like we're in that groove anymore. But we beat Iowa. We beat Washington. We only lost one game of the year. It was to Indiana. Yeah, I was at home. We only lost one game of the year. Newsflash. Texas Tech's better than Indiana. You lost that game at home. And it didn't take scheme for Indiana to beat Oregon. That was just the better football team. You know who told me that? Coach Gary Patterson, winner of the Rose Bowl. What is going to happen? I need Texas Tech fans to wrap your mind around it. What is going to happen to this Oregon team will be bad. They just don't get it yet. They just haven't watched it. They don't understand it yet. But it's going to be bad. A team that's out of rhythm. A team that's not as physical. A team that is not as fast. They can't get the ball to the outside. It's a scapegoat and avoid the middle because we get the ball to the outside. We're faster than you. We're going down the field. We're going to be able to score it. No. How many points, if you're allowing, we're pushing 30 points for James Madison, how many points will Texas Tech score on Oregon? What does that translate? What's the metric for being able to, what's the exchange rate on James Madison points to Texas Tech points? Double? Texas Tech twice as good offensively as James Madison? Probably. Oh, I haven't even mentioned the Texas Tech offense yet. Oh, Coy Aiken. Oh, a slew. Oh my gosh. Dickie Jacoby, the slew of athletes, Baron Morton on the offense of Texas Tech that will just eat you alive. Play this game tomorrow. Play it tonight. I want it. I need it in my veins. You're going to learn the Big 12 is legit, and the BYU and Utah should have been in over James Madison and Tulane, and probably over A&M, and probably over Miami, and probably over Alabama. You're going to learn that. You're going to see it. You're going to watch it with your own two eyes and see how good the Big 12 is at the top and how good BYU and how good Utah are, and their losses to each other, their losses to Texas Tech, do not indicate that they shouldn't be playoff teams. You're going to see it finally. I'll be vindicated when Texas Tech takes the absolute life out of Oregon. Absolute life out of Oregon. Book it. Screenshot it, screen record it, hold me to it, highlight it, bookmark it, send it to me, email it to your mom, keep it in a vault, bring it back to me in a few weeks. You won't, because I'm right. This has been It Always Will Be Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Dose grande.